All right, so today we are going to be going over some evangelism training, and today my mom is going to lead out in the discussion. She's going to be sharing some things that are helpful resources that we may or may not be aware of, and she's got the questions that we usually go through on Messenger. So we are. It's exciting to hear from different folks. Some of the things that have been working well as we're sharing our faith with others.
Amen. Thank you. So anyway, I wanted to ask a couple questions, and I was wondering what went well this week with you and your squads. Anybody could share.
Giselle, how many people did you have in your squad? Yeah, how many people did you have in your squad?
Oh my goodness. Last week I think it was 10.
Yeah.
6 squad.
That's what I was thinking too. So Giselle just split, and she had about 10 people in her squad. She took all the people from the last squad with her, including the leaders. They joined her squad too. So, but that was pretty quick.
Wow, that's good. Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Oh, another thing that Giselle did last week is she filled out the field report form with her and her assistant. But remember last week in the evangelism training we talked about having our corporals, those who are raising our hands, those who are like, hey, I want to get involved and I want to do evangelism, I want to be trained as a leader. A great opportunity to train them as a leader is during the field report form. So Xavier, who it's Giselle and Angie. Angie invited Xavier, and Xavier wants to lead too. So right now we can't have more than one of like there's the main leader and the assistant. There's not more than one assistant, but you have these different corporals that are enlisted, and Xavier he joined the field report form even before he was enlisted, and after that field report form he's like, I'm gonna enlist tonight, and he did. And he was pretty excited about that. So it's neat to see new leaders stepping up.
Yeah, that is good to be joined. And also for Friday's squad, I did the field report with Samuel, and also I asked, since we did that same thing with since I saw Xavier say that, I asked Sister Cadell to and actually it's KDL. I need to remember that.
KDL.
It's KDL. Yeah, I thought it was Cadell all the time, and she was like, no, it's really KDL, but she just used to just leave it like that since everyone called her that. But I asked her to join us while we were filling out the form, since she also enlisted, so
wow.
She stayed back as well when so she agreed to stay back and just see how we normally do it, and also the tips from staying back with you and Sister Angie. I was able to share it with them as well, so it was good.
Praise God.
So you guys really want to be thinking about that. Who can you invite to stay back behind with you? Who is a corporal? Like Susie has Theo, Marlon, and Brother Garrett. Like the four of you can be filling out the field report form together, and just thinking like those corporals who join you for the field report form, you're going to be developing leaders a lot faster doing that. I think this is a really good way to move forward.
Yeah, I do too. That's a great idea, because it'll get people used to doing it, and they'll see how simple it is, and they'll feel like they could do that. They're like, oh, is that what a leader does? Because sometimes people have this grand idea of what a leader is. So, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. Is there anything else that went well for people? We like little nuggets like that, just so you know. But it's okay if you don't have those nuggets either.
Did you see the people who are mute? You wouldn't be able to see
Let
them.
me see.
Susie's unmuted.
Okay, Susie.
Yeah, calling them.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Susie.
so something that went really well in the group last week, Sister Marilyn led out in the group on Sunday, and she did a really good job. She did really good at calling people out, like asking them what certain verses mean to them. And what I really enjoyed was me, Marilyn, and Brother Garrett filled out the report form together, and their input was just really good. Like, I really enjoyed that. They something that I noticed with people is that like to get them to really think, like the question about what's that question? Oh yeah, what's like your greatest challenge in growing the group? So I asked them, like, if you had your own group and you had an assistant that you were training, and by observing how we do the groups and all that, like, if you had all that, what would be your greatest challenge? And I see that when you personalize questions like that and make it more relevant to them, it actually gets them to think. And I got some good responses from them, such as like, the most common is like finding people to invite, and also influence, like learning how to influence the group, being more enthusiastic during the group and not too serious, So that's something that went really well in the group. I really enjoyed that.
And thank you. Thank you for sharing.
It's really cool.
Yes.
Is there something that you could, principles you can extract from that could be applied to other people's groups? Because we want to hear the testimony so we can see like different things that could apply that we could extract.
Right. Give me an example.
Like an example was Giselle was sharing how she did the field report form with her friends, and Xavier jumped on and he wasn't enlisted, but right after that he enlisted. So like, if anybody's like, and the thing we can learn from that is if anybody's struggling to encourage the people who have shown interest to enlist, then it like from Giselle's example, it looks like if you just involve them in the field report form, that's an easier ask, like an easier yes, a smaller yes. And when you get one yes, it's easier to get the second yes. And when they go through that field report, then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna fill out the enlist form tonight. Like that's like that could be a system. That could be a way that we start recognizing a pattern and apply it to ours. You're like, oh, who is someone like you? In your group, you have Isaac. So you want to be like, oh, Isaac. I should follow up with Isaac, invite him to the field report, and then encourage him to enlist that night. So like that would be an example of how we could apply. The reason why we're listening to the testimonies is because we want to find patterns that we could apply to other, to multiple groups. You want me for your phone?
Yes, thank you.
So like with Susie, another thing that we can learn from Susie's example was she personalized the question, and that was I think a lot of times people look at the question just as it is, and they see that they're trying to answer exactly that question, but instead of trying to answer exactly that question, try to see like, how does this fit to like my context? Like, not like there should never be like the answer no. It's like there's no challenge, or it's like, hey, we're splitting, there's no challenge. Well, it's like the challenge is splitting. Like it's finding out which people are going to be joining in which group. Like I had some leaders like Giselle and Kalo. Someone said like, yeah, we're not finding any challenges because we're splitting, but then her group had 3, Giselle's has 10. So there's clearly a challenge with divvying up who attends which squads. So it's like there is always a challenge going forward. there's never an absence of a problem. The problems don't go away. They get better quality problems. So it's just looking, and there's nothing wrong with having a challenge. Challenge might be is inviting. The challenge might be getting people to engage. The challenge might be following up with people, or people come once and they don't come back, or the challenge might be like the different things. There's a variety of different ways to challenge. And like what Susie was saying about like learning the skill of influence, and how do we learn and grow in those areas. Just being able to like personalize or give examples of what some of those challenges would be. And as we listen to each other, one thing that might be good for people who struggle with filling out the field report form is to go through and listen and read the previous enlist forms and see like what are some of the
Answers.
ways that they were answered in the past, because that could give some insights on how you could answer some different ways to be like, oh, this is really helpful, and this is what we base the training off of, what people are saying.
Thank you. I just want you guys to know that this is my first time doing this, and I feel kind of nervous about it. So my brain's like, okay. So, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And Susie, thank you for sharing that too, because every little piece makes a difference. Every little nugget is very powerful, I think, and you never know when it's going to influence somebody. So
I actually have something to share.
Oh, great.
Wow. Okay. So this time it's been a while since I've like shared something really like a personal testimony in the squad. But this time, yeah, it's been a while. Cause I was doing it before, I think, and then I kind of stopped, and I guess people have not been so engaged as before, maybe. But this week I shared some testimonies, and I think that, as leaders we go first, and so as we start to be more vulnerable and really like treat this as like a small group, and we're all close together and stuff, I think other people will start to open up more.
Oh, praise God.
Hopefully this will be like the start of that happening again.
I've definitely seen that happen before, where when you're vulnerable, people have sympathy. They're like, wow, I can't believe you just shared that, and their heart goes out, and they're like, well, if he could share that, I could share this, surely I could share this. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because it is important to be vulnerable and to go into not just abstract ideas, but to how they fit and how they work in life. And I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm wondering, when you said that you used to do that,
Mm-hmm.
what caused you not to do that anymore?
That's a good question. I can answer that later.
Oh, okay. And then you said that the reason why you went back to it is to try to get people to open up and start talking. Did I understand that right?
That may have been part of it,
Yeah.
but I do want to like contribute more, because I kind of like just backed off from that for a while, from sharing things, and then so people aren't really, I noticed that people weren't really sharing personal things, or like
intimate
stories
things.
and things that testimonies
Mm-hmm.
during the studies. So I guess part of it is I wanted to start that back up again, because like it's not that we don't get any input from from the squad, the squad members, but it's just like really impersonal. It's been impersonal, like just like theoretical kind of things that stand out. So yeah.
Well, that's nice. I think sometimes it's harder. I notice it's harder for men to be more intimate about what they're going through and how they're, you know, how things are going in life. And when a man opens up truly to like their feelings and what's going on in life, I think that really opens up a lot, and that really helps a group tremendously, male and female, you know. So I appreciate that you do that. Keep
Praise the
us
Lord.
up to date how that's working for you, like what kind of how that opens people up, and if it helps grow the group, or you know, help us to see what happens there, because that'll be interesting.
One thing that came to mind as I heard that was something I've been thinking of for a while. Is I think squad leaders would benefit, people who are facilitating the discussion would benefit by joining other people's squad. By joining another squad that like you're not facilitating, you can come, and as you attend, you're attending not as an attendee, you're attending as a leader. The lens by which you're looking at what the leaders are doing is different. You're coming as a learner, not necessarily to learn the Bible reading, which like you want to do, but you're learning how do they engage. What are the questions they're asking? What are they doing differently? What's working? What is not working? Well, how could I contribute? Like, how can I help? And how can I be helped? And just seeking to like be like, because we're all in one team, we're all in one family. So it's not like, oh no, I invite someone and they keep going to other people's squads. It's like, no, that's good. This is all part of one family that we're inviting people to. It's not like my squad or their squad.
Yeah.
No, it's like this is all one army, and we're going to war together. We are in the trenches with each other. So by learning like the tricks of the trade and what's working for others, we could see like that's how I learned that question. Like, what does that mean to you? From Pastor Smith, as I joined in, I saw how he led. I was like, whoa, that's a really powerful question. That's one of several. Like that's a new question I could put in my tool belt of a list of questions to engage people, and so I think it would be good if people were to like join someone else's squad to come to see how are they leading, not what is being said, but how is it being said, and learning the questions they ask and how they're processing and thinking about it. I think we could all benefit a lot from that. And joining the field report forum if you can, or even just straight joining, saying like, hey, can I join your field report forum? I'd like to know how you guys do that, because you hear that Susie and Giselle were having some good responses. So you're like, hey, I want to know like how could I answer this better, and just be there and learn, because when you are going to be an average of the top 5 voices you hear the most, and your level of leadership will be limited by the level of leaders that you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with people who are going in the same direction as you, or who have the same results that you want, then you will be an average of those top 5 voices you spend the most time with. So putting yourself in the path, the position of the direction that God's leading you as a squad leader, then I think you'll learn a lot more, and we'll be able to support each other better, because we all have varied talents that we can contribute.
Amen. And it's like Susie shared a little nugget with us today. If you were in Susie's squad that day, you probably would have caught on to that. Or Giselle's group too. You know, those are really big nuggets, and so it would be beneficial. Did anybody have new people this week?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yes.
Hi,
So we
Susan.
had a new sister this week that Sister Krista invited, and that's a testimony herself because she was one by people because of the potential reject. But she used the invite graphic and she posted it on her WhatsApp. Her friends from her church back home decided that, she wanted to join and she was interested. So that's a new person. Crystal's friend was a new person that we had this. And it was also a testimony that she stepped out of her comfort zone a little bit to invite some.
I like when that happens.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and those graphics are really powerful too. We could put those in different areas, and even ask if you can make a little bulletin to put, or a little flyer to put in the bulletin to share. So people can take that home with them and maybe join. And
What are some things that we can learn from Shanitzia's testimony with Crystal?
didn't she say she used the graphic?
Yeah. What can we
Yeah.
learn about that testimony? It's like one thing that like with Shanicia, she was wondering like how can we grow the squad, and Susie was asking too, what challenge would you be facing? And they're like inviting people, and part like the best people who are inviting, it's not about who you know, but who you meet and who they know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Susie didn't know that person. I didn't know Xavier, but I knew Giselle. Giselle knew Angie, and Angie knew Xavier. Like Giselle didn't know Xavier, but she knew Angie who knew Xavier. So that's going through the doorways. And the way that you go through the doorways is like ask like who do you know? That question is so powerful and so helpful. Like who do you know that wants some fellowship? Like I ask that question at the end of every squad. During that 10-minute offer, I use all 10 minutes and asking who do you know that wants to better understand the Word of God? Who do you know that is in need of connection, of fellowship, and encouragement? Who do you know that is striving to have a closer walk with God? And that's going through the doorways. And so it's really powerful how Shanicia invited Crystal, and when Crystal invited then someone else, like that was a really good blessing. But how did Crystal find out about the invite graphic, Shanicia?
I am glad you asked because I was going to actually mention that I was actually I kind of dropped the ball on that because I wasn't using the invite graphic as much. I was just going to people's inboxes and inviting them that way. But last week I used it and she was just like, oh, I didn't even know that this existed. And then she took it off of my status and reposted it to her status. So she started on mine and then she screenshot it and then posted it to hers.
Praise God.
So that's how she found out about it.
That's really good.
That's nice. That's part of the tools too.
Yeah.
It's in the tools. That's nice.
So maybe something that you could do, Sister Shanicia, is send her a link to the training funnel so she can download the invite graphic and she could accidentally see how simple and easy it is to invite other people also.
That's a good plan. I'll do that.
Sounds good.
We had a new person in ours too. There was a young man from Mexico. I was in a group one day and the person, well, I noticed that they had a thing that's a mentorship or something like that, or mentor or something like that. And I thought, wow, that's interesting because that's up like where the groups, where you change where you're at. I'm not really familiar with Facebook, but anyway, I saw that and I clicked on it. And because I was thinking, is that to get a mentor or to be a mentor? What's that mean? And I clicked on it and I was like, oh, you get to choose which way, if you want to be mentored or get a mentor. I said, oh, I'll see what mentees or mentors have to go through to be a mentor. And so, to find out what kind of information you get. So I clicked on that and then it asked me some questions about what I would mentor on and this and that, and I was going through it. And I'm telling you, as soon as I submitted that, I got a respond. This guy from Mexico, he responded to me, And so I've been having a conversation with him, getting to know him and stuff. And I invited him to the small groups. Well, he didn't show up, and excuse me, and that was okay. And I let him know that he doesn't have to go to my group; he could go to any group. And so he went on there and he signed up, and he happened to come on my group. And nobody showed up at first. I think it was a God shot. Nobody showed up. And so we were having a one-on-one talk and getting to know each other even more. And then Anel came, and Anel's about the same age as he is. And then they started talking, and we got into the Bible study, and he really appreciated that. He really liked it a lot. And now he met a friend, and yeah, and just when all these this whole group thing is to get friends and to learn about the Bible and to learn how to be a leader, and every little step counts, every little step. So I don't know how you guys feel about being mentors. That's a leader too. That was really powerful. And then yesterday I was in church and I got another person who wanted me to be their mentor, and so you could take or leave whoever you want as a mentor, because both of you have to agree on it. So anyway, and that's nice when you invite them to the small group, because everybody needs a friend. There's a lot of people who are lonely out there and they don't have a friend. They don't have a Christian, especially new Christians. They don't have Christians that they hang out with, because if they knew Christians, they were probably repelling against them, but now they want them, and so it's kind of hard to find a Christian friend sometimes. So that's nice. I'm glad he came. Yeah. So what's been people's greatest challenge? Has anybody? Oh, go ahead. Has anybody been challenged this week?
Well, I'll say for I guess both squads, especially Friday squad has been at a max for quite some time, and I think even last week we had like 12 persons there, and we did get someone new as well in Friday's squad. So it's really one person already enlisted, but now is trying to get someone else to enlist. And I did try to reach out to a few people. One still praying about it. One plainly said no. But yeah, so the challenge really is being able to get persons to enlist so we could actually make the split, because we have the numbers, but it's just to find the leaders to split. And also just last week we just started 6 squad, and yeah, we already added 10. So now it's like we have to fast track. But because we have to fast track since the Angie's training now. So I already have one person enlisted as well. So now it's to get someone to enlist and also speed up with the Angie's training. So it's like all about finding the leaders and training them to continue to grow and split.
Wow. Yeah, it truly is that the harvest is ready and the laborers are few, and I think that's why while we're doing groups, that we should always be encouraging people to take on that leadership role. I don't think everybody fits that, but we do want to encourage people to take that on and to learn of it. And I'm not sure, but as we're growing, I know that we're trying to grow a group and then get 12 people there and then split off. But if, like what Giselle's going through, she's got many people, could we like take a leader from somebody else's group to take 5 of them off of her hands and start a group?
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah. How would we go about doing that?
Well, it's like her partner for Friday is Samuel. Samuel came from Tuesday. He was in my squad, and he showed up one day, and I was doing the offer, and I was like, friends, our groups are growing rapidly. The harvest is plenty, so labors are few. If God puts on your heart to sign up to be a small group leader, I encourage you to do so. There's opportunities everywhere for evangelism, and we need some help. And he's like, I'm interested. It was his first day there, and I was like, all right, cool. I'll send you information afterwards. And so I sent it, and he enlisted. So he came from Tuesday, and Giselle invited him, but we needed a leader on Friday. So I'm like, which days are you available? And he said Friday. So we partnered him up with Giselle over on Friday. He's been leading that with her for several weeks now.
That's nice.
And now Friday has grown to like 11 or so people, and they need to split. You know what I find interesting about Giselle's challenge? It's that the one thing, like, how many people in this room or in this, like, this conversation, this evangelism training, that their biggest challenge is encouraging people to enlist? How many people are actively looking for, like, how can I encourage people to enlist? How can I help them to enlist? A lot of people are, and how do I say this? I find that whatever the challenge, trial, struggle, like struggling is a good sign. It means that you're trying. So it's like whatever the challenge is that we're trying to solve, that tends to be like Matthew 7:7, seek and ye shall find. We find solutions to what we're trying to solve. And like Giselle has invited like some of the most amount of people to enlist. It's like 6 or 7 or something different people through Giselle's influence. And she's like, her biggest challenge is having people enlist, but that's the thing that she's excelling the most at as well. And it's like likewise when you're asking, like, I remember Margretha, she's here, and she was like, for a couple weeks, she's like, my biggest challenge is getting people to engage and interact. And like through seeking to solve that challenge, now the conversation is very interactive. People are participating, they're sharing, and they're answering things. So it's like what used to be her greatest challenge is now like her greatest strength. And that's just how it works for all of us, that whatever challenge you choose to solve, which we should all be trying to solve a problem at any given time.
Yeah.
That's why in that field report form, that should never be blank, is because that is the area that we're going to grow the most in, because what you focus on grows. And that's an observation I made with Giselle's testimony too.
And I really like that saying that you say, God doesn't qualify the called. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Because there's a lady right now who wants to help in church, at our church, but she's really nervous because she doesn't speak English very good, and she wants to do her part. And she said that like echoes in her mind, that God's going to qualify her to do this. And even though she's so scared, she's boldly going up there to the front to say the scriptures. And English isn't even her first language, but she's speaking out those scriptures and doing the tithe. The tithe is so difficult to do. And that's what she wants to do. She wants to do the scriptures and the tithe. And so we go up there to go do things that are difficult for us, because God qualifies you when you do that. And so if we just keep repeating that and explaining to people who don't understand what that means, that you don't have to know how to do these things. God's going to teach them to you.
That's so true.
Yes, and that could be a real strength for somebody.
A great place to share that is in the offer.
Yes.
Is when you're inviting people to become a squad leader, just say like, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. It's really impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Is there anybody else having difficulties? What's your greatest challenge? Well, I want to share with you guys that there are tools that whatever your challenge is, there's probably a tool for that. And if you guys have gone on the leadership funnel, that's at thearmyofyouth.com/leadership
Or training.
or training rather. Let me get in there real fast because I want to talk about some of these things. Is that this one here? Because I think that even when you have a problem, you don't have to wait for a class to get the help that you need. And it's really interesting the things that you could do on this training, this funnel here. So if they watch the at the very top of it, there's a video there, and it talks about what the different what the language is and what it takes to be a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a captain, and such. And that's nice to.
If you share your screen on Discord, then Conrad could share it in the video.
Oh, okay, I'll do that. Let me share my screen. Go here and here, and go live there. Thank you, because I didn't think to do that. Okay. Let's see if that's showing. Okay, so at the very beginning here, let me pull this off here. Let me go big on there. There's the leadership training right here, and so the first video it explains what the different ranks are, and that's nice to know. That way you know how we're trying to grow. So that's pretty much like basic stuff. And then in step 1 is really nice to share with people, and this is for people who want to be a corporal. You see them as a corporal. This is what you're going to share with them. This is what they need to understand. So, and all it takes is a few minutes, if even that, to read these seven parts that make a good corporal. And they don't have to do all 7 of those. If they're showing up consistently and communicating with the group and such, that's good. That's really good. And then I like this part. Step 2, it says create your who do you know list. And this, I'm going to show you how it works because it's so simple. So they want to read throughout what it says over here on the side. But when they click this who do you know worksheet, you click on that, and then they let you make a copy of it. So when you copy that, it gives you a form that could be filled out. You could take this form and you could share it with your with your people inside of the group, and it's good to talk to people outside of the group to show that you're interested in what they're doing and stuff like that. And this would be a great thing, a great tool to share with them. That way they could understand how to invite people, and you'll find out what's stumbling them. And this is a really good tool right here. And you know, a lot of people will ask questions and stuff during this time, so you know what's bogging them down. And when they know that you're there to help them, it really bonds you closer together, which I like that tool just because of that. Now I want to share something. Well, here, let's go to 3 first. So number 3, it says here how to invite people to Bible studies. And this is how to start up conversations and stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
With the who you know, would you guys be interested if I recorded a short video explaining how to have that conversation with your partner about who do you know, so that you can go through the doorways and find an unlimited number of people to invite?
I would like that.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Set enough people.
We'll see.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, thanks for your feedback.
Yes. Because we wanna do this according to the majority of people who need things. And if you don't mention that's something you're interested in, then we won't really be able to gauge that, hey, we should do this. So speak up if that's something you're interested in. So okay.
Actually, I could do it during this time. We can spend maybe like 15 minutes or so going through that exercise. But I would need to have someone who could be, who I could test it out on. So maybe we could, like in a future one, if we could do that together and just go through some of the people that that would be helpful. I would need one person to be willing to kind of role play with me. Not necessarily role play, but actually go through the process together.
I'd be willing to, but I know that there's other people who haven't gone through that process before. And I'm telling you, it's a very powerful process. And to have it done with your people, he does the work for you. So I would jump on this if I were you.
Yeah, and you don't have to say it right now. We could do it later, but I didn't want to say that. Do you see someone who's unmuted, Mom?
No.
Are you looking on Discord?
I have the screen
Can you
open for
open
people to see.
Can you open them both at the same time?
I just got off of it. What did you say?
Where's the Tina?
I was just gonna, I guess make a suggestion. What if we would fill that out together? Like you said, give one person an example, as an example. But we could maybe do that and then fill it out together. Would that work, or is that?
You mean as a group?
We do.
It's a very personalized conversation. It's not necessarily like a group activity. Like we definitely can try to do it at the same time, but the more personalized it is, it will be very. It's designed to be a one-on-one conversation.
Okay.
It's really powerful. Okay. And I want to show this down at the very bottom of this page. It's way down here. There's a printable leadership development checklist.
You gotta share your screen again.
Oh, I did?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why did you turn it off?
I accidentally did that when I went back to the
Oh, okay.
thing. Because I accidentally clicked myself off.
Makes sense.
I just closed that. Okay, so if you go down to the bottom, we were up here. Let me just go through this one more time. So we went here, and we were right there last. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom to the screen checklist, it opens up in a new window. Right here, let me show you. And in this checklist, you make a copy also, like you did the last one, and you could take your people that you're working with. Their names go up here. See, I hope you can see right here where my arrow is. You put the names of the people that you're working with, and this date right here, it explains what date they started. You see the X? If you look on row 9, it says devotional document, and there's like a slash there. So what you do in this column is you put a slash. That means they're working on it, and then when you put that's the forward slash. When you put the backward slash on it, that'll make it an X, and then you put the date when they finish that. And so this is a good document to go through to keep track of where everybody's at, because it's going to get very cumbersome when you got a lot of people you're working with and you don't remember who's on the first part of it and who's done number 7 and all that. It's very difficult to keep up with. But this is nice. And what I do, instead of putting the date of when they finished it, what I like to put on the date is when's the next time they said that they'll have this done. And so if they said that they'll have this done on Tuesday by 3:00, then I would put that on there instead of the date, and that way it'll help me remember when to contact them and talk to them again. And it's that's an appointment that's set. So if they say that, hey, I could watch that first training video by today's the 15th, I could do that by 3:00 tomorrow. So what I would put there is at I would put 15 and then I would put 3. That's what I would do, because to me that would be on the 15th at 3:00. You know, I'm gonna call them back. So that's just how I would do. But you guys could do it how you want. Use that date for how you want. But always set an appointment. Otherwise they fall through the cracks. You'll see. Yeah. And so, and I try to do these, stay on task and do these in the order that they're on this page. Because if you're up here and then you go down there and you know, you're fluctuating all over the place, they'll fall through the cracks on one fundamental belief that's necessary, and you won't realize that they don't have that, and they won't understand things correctly, and things will start like not going well. So this checklist is found right here where this green box is. Let me see if there's any questions going on here.
I have a comment.
Oh, okay.
And can I see your other screen? Like
Yes.
the other part
Yeah.
of it?
Let me fix this. Right here.
Yeah, that part.
Uh-huh.
Where, like, for those of you who are like struggling with teaching your assistant, there's a, like, just on the opposite side, it says a new squad leader assistant getting started checklist. That's like from Notion, and that is very helpful if you want to know how to like teach your
Leader.
your squad leader, and it's very like systematic. I really like that one. Yeah, like their first step and their second step, their third step.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have found very helpful.
Thank you.
See that right there? You don't need all
And the more we follow a checklist, the easier it gets. But if we like train them like here little, there little, it's like it's harder to follow than if you're just following a system.
Thank you for that, Tina. Ooh, look at that. I'm gonna have to go over that right there, because I haven't noticed that before.
It's one of the most helpful ones that we have.
That's nice.
And also for Mary Yonk, as you're here, what we want to do is the new people that join. I think we have also one for enlisted corporals. It has all the different things that they could do. Like Sister Marlon, who's no longer a squad leader, but she's a corporal, and is Garrett's assisting. Like Marlon can have a list of like, there are things that she's not doing since she's no longer a squad leader, but there are things that she can do as a enlisted corporal. And as people enlist, we want to be able to make sure these checklists get added to their getting started checklists that each person gets. And as they go through that checklist, it can help them to make sure that they're systematically doing it. So, because Leah, every time someone enlists, they get a list of things that they're doing. So they can literally, you have one link that you can send them on Notion, and they could just check it off one by one as they go through and do those activities. It's a really simple way for people to stay on track, and for a leader to know where are they at so far.
And so what, would you check that once a week or something, or?
You can check it however often. The speed of leaders is the speed of the pack, so it's as fast as they go through it. Depends on their level of commitment or availability.
Okay, thank you.
Walk with the walkers, run with the runners, and sprint with the sprinters.
And we were talking about the posts that the graphics that were posted here they are. They're at the bottom also, and that's one of the first things that we have have somebody do is post that, because we want them to know, to learn how to post that, so that we know that they know how to do that.
Why is one of the first things that we have corporals do is to post that the social invite? And part of the reason why is because, like Sister Shanicia's testimony, Crystal was afraid of inviting people because of rejection. But when you post on social media, it gets them a quick victory. And you want to help them to have micro victories and to have these quick victories, because now that Crystal posted on WhatsApp status and her friend from church wants to join, now Crystal's like, oh wow, people actually do want to join. I have something to offer. So now Shanicia, as a leader, she reminds her every time Shanicia talks to Crystal about inviting people, Shanicia is always reminding her of the person who came. And how if that's just one person that came, imagine how many more people would come if you take just a little bit more effort in like who you know, or making a list of who you know, and then like just giving them an invite, or posting more frequently, or where else could you post it that people who are interested might be, and just reminding her, it's like, look at the impact that it's having on that one friend from church, because by posting on social media, it's very easy. It's more kind of like introverted. It's indirect. It helps people to have a micro victory as they're publishing.
Amen. And when they see that actually works, they'll use that same tool over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And it's nice to have a variety of tools too. So let's go back up here, because I really like it up here.
2 minutes.
Oh, I have 2 minutes. Okay, so instead of going through this, I want to ask, is there anything that anybody would like to add to what was shared today? Okay. Okay. So I'm really glad this was my first day doing this, and thank you so much, Enoch, for helping, and everybody else who participated and shared, because by sharing and us understanding what needs to happen, it gives us things to talk about, and relevant things, not just anything. And I want to thank everybody who participated and everybody who came. We'll go ahead and close with a prayer. Kamran, would you like to say a prayer?
Well, me.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Father in heaven, Lord, thank you for bringing us all here together to share and discuss and see how you're working through this squads ministry, and seeing our different challenges and how we can move forward and do better. Lord, please prepare the hearts of the people as we go out to minister to them throughout the week, and please continue to help us as we develop our evangelism skills, and Lord, help us all to be more and more like you as each day goes by. And we thank you for hearing our prayers in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So every Tuesday and Thursday we have a meeting at 9:00, and I just want to invite everybody to come again. God bless you guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye.